What is up, everybody? Welcome in, and welcome to a very special episode of the Hashira Half Hour. I'm your host, Bryan, and today I have quite a few extra faces with me today. And we're here to talk about all things Anime Expo Demon Slayer panel. So let's go ahead and meet everyone. Let's start off with Hana, our usual host.
Hey everyone, it's me, it's Hannah. I'm always here. I'm nothing new, so I'm just gonna pass it off to Brynn.
Hi, I'm Brynn. I'm Witchworks Cosplay on Instagram and TikTok, and my favorite anime right now is probably Tokyo Revengers because I've been way too addicted to it.
Love to see it. Let's hear from Felicia.
Okay, my name is Felicia. On Instagram and TikTok, I am a cosmologist. I think my favorite anime, it's really hard to pick one, but I go back and forth between Attack on Titan and Demon Slayer. Like, both of them just make me feel all the emotions, and I just love that. So
Felicia, this is why we are friends.
yes. I need the trauma in the anime.
Oh no!
Same.
Hi everyone. My name is Gabriel. I go by Gabriel Cano 101 on Instagram, Gabriel Cano 101010 on TikTok, and right now my favorite anime is Demon Slayer.
Hello everyone, I am Jenna and I'm back for round 4. If there's one thing you remember about me, it's probably that I am Rui's #1 fan. And at this point in my life, I have seen the real-life Rui Uchiyama-san at Anime Expo, but that's not what we're here to talk about today. But if you want to hear more about that, you can follow me on Instagram or TikTok. I'm jenna.master.fandom, and then I'm Master Fandom on YouTube, and my favorite anime is Demon Slayer.
All right, well, we certainly have a crowd with us today, and everyone here, except for me, I actually didn't go to Anime Expo, just to clarify that, so I'm really more so the third-party observer, if you will. But everyone here had the amazing opportunity to not only go to the Demon Slayer panel at Anime Expo, but they also got front row seats. Now, Hannah gave me a little bit of a rundown here about how these lovely people were able actually to switch into the front row. So they were like, hey, can we sit in the front row? We're the upper moons, like we don't want to kill you today. So they were able to get right up in front. Let me hear about that, and let's hear a little bit more about the voice actors.
Oh my goodness. I just want to say a huge thank you to the people that were in the front row that were like, hey, take our seats. We've been in the front row all day. We want to let you be in the front row now. They were in Twisted Wonderland cosplays, which they got to do the front row for the Twisted Wonderland panel, but I did not get their names or their information, so I hope they're having a great day because I'm so thankful. But what an amazing opportunity to sit front row. I think for at least Jenna and I, who have gotten to see Hana-san in person before, getting to sit in that front row this time was like a whole new experience that brought us a lot of excitement and joy.
Honestly, getting to sit front row was pretty incredible, just like getting to experience it all in front of us. Getting to sit front row with everybody was a shock because we all thought we weren't going to be able to be front row. We thought we were going to be able to be split up, but seeing it in person honestly made me starstruck, seeing Hana-san and everything, like even the first time around, but seeing the introduction to the panel and then just seeing him do the Tanjiro voice, it brought chills to me. I was so starstruck.
Yeah, getting to that front row was a very intense game of musical chairs, if I'm honest. It went from I sat on the edge, and then I was calling out that chair when people left. Took probably 5 rotations of different people for us to get that spot. And they saw all of our cosplays, and they're like, you guys have to be together. One girl made her boyfriend move and switch Jenna. And she's like, go, they have to be together. But she stayed up front there. And then the 2 girls actually switched with Brynn and Gabriel, and they were really nice about it. So, yeah, it felt like a little, not a competition, but everyone was really nice, but it felt really intense. And to hear Hanai-san come out and say Hino Kami Kagura in Tanjiro's voice, oh my gosh, I wasn't ready for that. So that intro just blew my mind, but yeah.
Yeah, I can just remember just how like all the feelings that that we were going through, because the Demon Slayer panel was very highly anticipated. When we were going into that room, we knew that that we were gonna go for the front row seat, and from the previous panels, it didn't look likely. But yeah, once we met that nice couple, multiple couples that helped us change seats, get so that we can sit together. That was just really nice of them, and I hope that they're listening, so that I could probably say thank you for what you did, because you really made our days. And yeah, just seeing the panel, Hana-sama coming out, along with Moichiro's voice actor, as well as the producers, to make that panel so great. Hearing them do the voices, they're talking about the show. It's just so great, and I'm so grateful that we went.
Yeah, definitely super, super grateful for those people who moved to let us in. As everyone else was saying, we transitioned so many times. Like, me, Hannah, and Felicia were like alone at some points, and we had been waiting 7 hours, so we were dedicated. And there's just like something about sitting in the front row that like makes you believe you're like the only ones in the audience, and like everything else disappears, which is just like such a special thing. Like, we were so close to them, and the energy in that room was insane. Not only in our front row, us demons were going wild. At one point, I almost fell out of my chair because Hannah was tugging my arm so much. My entire shoulder was like going down, but I don't blame her, because you all know I was a mess during the Uchiyama-san panel, and I like fainted during the Spy Family panel, so we're all just like a bunch of nerds.
Yeah, I feel like we forgot to mention, we got into this room at 10 a.m. Like, earlier, it was like 9:45, and we sat through like 6 different panels to be able to sit in the front row. And we also got to the convention at like 7:30, and it didn't open until 9. Dedicated.
That is dedication that I don't know if I'm able to muster. I admire all of you for doing such. Now, I hear through the grapevine, my grapevine about Hanae-san is actually Hana-san, so let me just clear that up. But apparently he is studying English and used quite a lot here. How special is that? And especially for, Jenna and Hannah, we talked a little bit about how Hanae-san was a little bit timid to speak in English and only using Japanese. Open up your thoughts about Hanae-san throughout the panel and day.
Yeah, so as you know, I went with this group to the Demon Slayer panel back in February, and he spoke a little bit of English then, but like seeing the evolution to now, like 5-ish months later, like he progressed so much. And it was like to the point of like extraordinary. Like, he was speaking sentences, and I just was sitting there in complete shock. Like, oh my gosh, like this man is amazing, and he's so dedicated to his love of this story and his fans, and to learning this language. And I think that that was just so special to see the evolution and how far he had come. And something that stood out to me is that he mentioned how, like, a year from now when he comes back, hopefully, is he wants to be fluent in the language. And he's just an amazing man, and I know Hannah will have a lot more to say about this.
I mean, you took the words right out of my mouth, but I think that it really was cool to see the difference between February and now. I remember looking at Jenna, and then Ange was there too, who was also with us in February, and all of us were just like, whoa, like, what he said at the LA premiere was very, like, basic English. You could tell that he had rehearsed it, he had worked on it with someone, but this was like, he was saying, like, I'm so happy it's so popular here, I want to, and then he mentioned wanting to be fluent by next year. He even said he wants to live here, which we were like, okay, all right, you're getting a little too excited here. But just, you could tell that not only is he just excited to interact with fans, but he's also very excited, and I think it's kind of a new thing for him to see the popularity in countries that don't speak his language. So it's like almost an honor that he's choosing to learn this language so that he can interact with us across the seas more often, and possibly, maybe that'll open the door for getting to actually meet him someday. Who knows?
Something I noticed was, sorry, but not only like his English sounded good, but even when other people were reading out the questions for him to answer and he would nod his head, you could tell that he was comprehending like the English before a translator even had to step in. So that is something I noticed. And I feel like you could just tell they were in awe of how many people in America enjoy anime, let alone Demon Slayer. And I'm sure that was like a very cool experience for them to just feel how much we love the show and that we're happy to be there.
Yeah, the energy flowing through that room was actually insane. And then seeing how passionate Hane-san was when he was just expressing how excited he was really something else. And I didn't get to go to the premiere back in February, but I got to hear from everyone else about how amazing it was and that he did speak a little bit of English. And then just seeing everyone else so shocked that he's speaking so much English. And I was super shocked as well to see that he has dedicated so much time and effort into learning it, and that he sees all the happiness and passion that we get from Demon Slayer, and he also gets the same amount of happiness and passion into his work as well. So it was really amazing just getting to experience it and be in front of him as he's expressing it to us as well.
So yeah, listening to Hane come out on the panel, speaking both Japanese and English, it was really special. It was really rewarding. Like I could understand more so. I could hear the passion in his voice, like just how much a big of a fan he is of the show, and just the honor he has of being a voice actor for it. There's something about it just feels very rewarding and really wholesome. That he's just a genuine guy, and I'm really glad that we got to experience it in person up close, because it was just incredible. And I'm really he talked about coming back. Maybe I think he said he also wants to visit Disneyland, if I'm not mistaken, which that would be great.
Keep
Was
coming
a
back.
very
Just
good
tell him.
experience.
We're like, yep, just keep coming back. We love it. Keep coming.
More, please. I'll have some more, please.
Mosto.
Alright, well, not only was Hanae-san there, but Muichiro's voice actor, Kengo Kawanishi, or Kawanishi-san, was also in attendance. Tell me some of your favorite moments with him.
Yeah, Kengo was just, I had never seen another project with Kengo before. And well, it's actually my first time seeing both Hanai and Kengo in person. But when he came out, it felt so good. We get to sounds just like Moichiro, even when he's not, hear him, what surprised me most of all was that his voice trying to do the voice, that sounds just like him, that's his natural voice. And so that was just incredible. It blew my mind. First heard him spoke, I was like, oh my god, that's him. That is him. That is Moichiro. That is also Yoichiro, and and he just like Hane-sama, he genuine guy. I'm really glad we got to see him, that he got to share his thoughts about the show, and we all got to listen to it, just hearing how much passion he has for the show. I'm really proud of him.
Yeah, 100% agree with what Gabriel said. And as you know from the last episode I was on, Muichiro is my favorite Hashira and one of my favorite characters of the show. And so I was trying so hard not to cry before he came out. And then as soon as he came he came out, Felicia had to pass me the tissues because I was just streaming, trying not to mess up my Akaza makeup.
I was fanning her with a fan that we got from one of the other panels.
Yeah, that too. We were all looking out for each other that day and that whole weekend. But like Gabriel said, my shock came from his voice sounding exactly like Muichiro, which made me 10 times more emotional. It's I did not need this. And I think my favorite part when he was talking was when he was talking about playing both Tokito twins, and how when he was playing Yorichiro, he had to really dig deep for that anger side of him, those really heavy emotions, which don't really come naturally for him. Like, as a person, he's more like Muichiro. And so his kind of whole discussion about playing both the twins was really fascinating for me to hear.
Agreed. I thought that conversation was really interesting. I was wondering how he felt, recording for two different characters, but I just remember when we watched that episode for the first time, I didn't really notice it was like the same voice actor till near the end. So he did just such a phenomenal job, and you could tell the audience was just like in such agreement with that because we were all cheering him on so much. But it was an honor to sit next to Jenna as she got to witness seeing him in person, because she got to be next to me the first time I saw Hana in person, and she's experienced the madness, and now I've experienced the madness, and it was a great time. He was so humble, and I agree with Gabriel. He sounded just like Muichiro, which was really interesting. I think when Hanai-san says lines from the show, you can tell that he's very much voice acting, and it still is like the same person. Like when he speaks normally, it's like, oh yeah, that's him. But I think it comes from the fact that he's like in his 30s and he's playing a 15-year-old, so you got to make your voice sound a little bit different. But when Kawanishi-san spoke, it was like, okay, that's Muichiro. There he is, and it was really incredible. And also, it was just so cool, like Felicia said, with Hanai-san opening up with Hinokami Kagura, which was so amazing that the crowd drowned him out for the form. I don't know about you guys, but I could not hear what he said after that because the crowd was so loud. But Kawanishi-san also said Kasumi no Kokyu, and again, I didn't hear the form because the crowd was just so excited. It's just so fun to hear these live. It's like an unreal experience that you just don't expect because it's like otherworldly practically, so it was really cool.
Yeah, I also got the honor of sitting next to Jenna on the other side, and I remember I was already ecstatic. My heart was already like beating out of its chest just from the intro of how they opened up the panel, playing the intro to Swords to This Village. We all lost our minds during that. We all got so excited, so did the crowd. But seeing both of them walk out and Jenna seeing Kawanishi-san, it was incredible. Because I remember just turning and I see Jenna like almost about to cry, and me and Hannah just fanning her. And it was so much fun just experiencing the entire panel with everybody, because you can genuinely see how interested they all are in the characters, especially Kawanishi-san, about how he was digging deep to play both of these roles and had to dig even deeper to get this like anger and like another side of himself that he doesn't touch more. Also getting, when they read like the lines, or I think it was improv the lines for two of the parts later in the panel at the end, that was really amazing, just getting to see them channel the characters, like what they do for a minute, and then just getting in. And for once the panel was actually very quiet, because in the beginning when they all were coming out and they were saying their forms, everyone was drowning them out like Hannah was saying, but when they all were speaking their lines, everyone was just so quiet, listening so intently, because everyone is so invested and loves all these characters so much. So it was really amazing just hearing him and seeing him do that live.
Yeah, I agree. I felt like it was a surprise when he came out immediately sounding like Muichiro, because I was not expecting that, and it's like a wave just hit Jenna and she was just in awe, and we were all like consoling her, and it was so cute. And he's so cute. Like, he seems like such a sweet, like genuine person. And I love that. I love the skit of both of them bouncing off of each other and hearing how much emotion and power they put behind their voice to really embody what the character is going through in that moment. Like, that is some really good acting, to actually picture what's going on, not actually kind of like interact what is happening, but to picture it. That's powerful to me. And I'm so happy we all got to witness it.
He's super tiny, by the way. Like, super short. Like, makes Hanai-san look like a giant, and he's not tall either. It was so cute.
Oh, well, I was just watching Hell's Paradise, and there's a character named Gabimaru, and someone called him Shorty Maru, and that just made me think of that. Sorry, side tangent. But you guys not only got to hear some lines improv on stage, but you also got some clips from the anime. So there was the Tanjiro Sun Halo Dragon Head dance, Muichiro breaking out of the water prison pot with the help of imaginary Tanjiro, or as I call him, Imanjiro, Muichiro beheading Gyoko, and finally, Tanjiro chasing down Hantengu in the finale. Honestly, for Hannah's sake, I'm glad that they didn't show the entire finale scene. She probably would have died on the spot. However, We also had to say rip to her Kokoshibo makeup because it definitely was gone after that point. Any call-outs here?
One part of all of this that really stuck out to me, I got goosebumps. I think it was the line when Muichiro, he says something like, "You thought you were the only one taking this seriously." Oh my gosh, like I just felt everyone's energy in that moment, and I'm pretty sure that's when it panned out. And if I'm not mistaken, shortly after they showed the artwork, I wish I could relive that moment. But yeah, that's my little take.
Yeah, I think the Sun Halo Dragon dance like really stood out to me because I watched that episode for the first time along with Hana and Bryan and Emily and everyone. And so that was like very much engraved into my mind because of how iconic that scene is. And then, of course, Muichiro's scene with Kyoko, obviously, like, I think that had to be my favorite part, just seeing that play out on such a huge screen, the absolute gorgeous animation of his mist, and, of course, he's my boy. And something else I wanted to call out was that when, like, the audience was watching these scenes, like, the people on the stage, they were at, like, an angle where they couldn't really watch the screen, so, like, they were just looking at us. With, like,
yeah.
So, like, they 100% were watching not only the audience, but, like, the entire front row of Upper Moon Demons absolutely losing their minds. I also wanted to say really quickly, when we were doing all of, like, the swapping, trying to find our front row seats, I was alone at one point, and I was sitting next to this guy, and he was like, "Oh, yeah, I haven't seen season 3 yet." I was like, "Oh no, buddy, you're in the wrong place."
Not the panel being literally advertised as, "Let's discuss Swordsmith Village." Oh my god, I was thinking about that the whole time, because every single time they played a scene, that entire group of us were, like, shaking in our seats, like screaming and, like, pointing at the screen, and I'm just sitting there thinking, oh my god, are they watching us freak the frick out? They probably were. Hopefully we're not the weird Americans, you know? Hopefully we're, like, cool, and they think that was really exciting, but
Too far
honestly,
gone for that.
Not Kokoshibo, like, being super, super excited to watch Demon Slayers slay demons. I'm just saying. Or all of us, because we were all demons. But a few call-outs for me was honestly, like, Tanjiro's Sun Halo Dragon Head Dance was the first thing they showed, and we didn't know they were going to play clips from the anime, so, you know, we all were like, oh my gosh. But I have to say, first of all, thank you to the powers that be that only showed Tanjiro chasing down Hantengu and not more, because I was genuinely nervous that they were going to show, like, the whole Nezuko conquering the sun scene, and I was not mentally prepared for that, so thank you. But I keep thinking about the fact that I shouted Tanjiro's line when he says, "Found it," inside his heart. I screamed it in Japanese very loudly. So I hope Hanai-san didn't hear me and go, maybe not a voice acting career for you, honey.
Honestly, when they started playing the starts of those scenes, I think we all waited with bated breath because it's like we all knew what was happening. We've all lived through this already, but it was like everyone's first time watching it over again. It was sitting on the edge of your seats, just leaning, like, I remember just like leaning forward, and I thought I was just the weird one looking in. Then I see Hana and everyone else is leaning forward. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I'm not just, it's not just me freaking out too. I knew it would be all of us, but I remember just me and Hana looked at each other. And we're like, if they play the end of that scene, we were just like, we're about to cry. Everything is gonna be down. And it was just so incredible watching that all just go down and just seeing peaks and snips of all the incredible voice acting that was in this incredible season, and seeing like Hane-san talk about those scenes in particular. It was amazing about how he channeled it, and then again seeing it on the screen just was incredible. And then when they were showing the trailer for the Hashira training arc again, that made me so excited. And I mean, my favorite is Tengen, even though I'm wearing the Obanai sweater. I love them both, and I just love getting to see them all and getting to see more of their, like, character development and each one's relationship with Tanjiro, Gro, and it got me so excited. We were all screaming about it and looking at all of our favorite Hashira. It was so much fun.
My soul left my body when they played the Hashira training arc little preview, and I actually got out of my seat when Giyu appeared. So
Yes.
Another great moment from me.
Just the reach.
I was waiting. I was waiting for you to say that.
Up I don't know what happened. I literally like stood up, pointed at the screen, and went, "Yeah, that's my husband," or something like that. And I was like, I sat back down. I was like, did that just happen? Yeah, it did. Anyway.
Yeah, she did indeed say that's my husband. I was right there.
Jenna's like, actually, yeah, it happened. I can confirm. Under the bus. Oh, God.
Oh, my gosh. We need a... Wait, what?
I said Jenna was the bus. She just totally added that.
Well, a couple of other fun things. You got messages from Akari Kito, the voice of Nezuko, and Kana Hanazawa, the voice of Mitsuri, as well as a special gift. Anything you'd like to call out real quick?
Seeing both of those VAs just coming on screen and giving us just a little message, like, honestly made my day. Getting to see Nezuko and both Mitsuri got me so excited because, along with Obanai and Tengen, Mitsuri is one of my favorite Hashiras, and it was so cute seeing that she was acknowledging, like, the cosplayers that were there as well. She was, like, curious if anyone was in the Kanroji cosplay for that day, and it made me kind of wish I was in my Kanroji cosplay because I was doing that the next day. But it was just so cute seeing that they all understand how much we love Demon Slayer, and it was so much fun getting to hear them and, like, make little jokes to Hanai-san, and it was so fun seeing that. And then the little gift that we got was insane. I don't know where it is right now. Oh wait, I have it. But it's
Hannah's
such
ready.
a cute. Hannah's ready. Mine's a little buried. But getting that photo and seeing it drawn out was something incredible because Hanai-san and Kawanishi-san didn't even know that they were getting it either. We all were watching that process, and it was incredible just seeing how much tiny detail goes into each brushstroke for each figure. And, like, I remember just, like, watching in awe. I didn't even realize, like, what was happening around me. I was just focused on the screen watching it all.
Yeah, it was nice that they set up that little video for us, and they were talking about how they wanted to eventually come out maybe next year. And I think it was them who asked them to bring back a souvenir from LA, if I'm not mistaken. Mm-hmm. And they were all like, what should we bring back? Like, what do we bring them? And we're trying to, like, brainstorm. And the only thing I could think of was maybe an LA Starbucks mug. I don't know, like, what's LA to bring back there. But I really hope that they do come out and we actually get to hear them speak in the characters, because their voices were a little more hidden from what the character sounded like, at least in my perspective, and that would have been exciting to hear. And the gift was amazing because we didn't even know that we were going to get that drawing. We were just shown the whole process and how much, like, yeah, the detail, the shading, how much work and time and effort is actually put in to drawing and making this show for that. Like, that was very humbling to see, and I'm glad that we all got a little piece of it. So
yeah, hearing from Akari Kito and Kanasagawa. It could have been both, but it was one of Mitsuri and Nezuko. Like, that's what I was thinking. That's what I was thinking, because it feels like they were interested in doing it too. At least that's how what I got. They were talking about it. They were talking about just how happy they are with them. She actually asked the audience, like, as she was here, how are you all doing? How are you all doing today? And she made a pause, and the whole crowd just shouted, like, we're good. And she did that. I felt like she was actually here. And I actually remember that question about bringing back a souvenir. The only thing on my head that I was thinking was bring them a cosplay of Mitsu, that they're seeing all these fans. We're supporting the show. We're loving the show. We're cosplaying. We're having a good time. And I guess, and it's just it's so amazing getting to hear it from them.
Yeah, it was such a lovely surprise seeing both these women. They were both just so sweet and just, like, so happy, and, like, their involvement with the audience was so nice. And you could tell that, like, both of them really wanted to be there, and they're hoping to maybe come next year if they can. They were just so into it, and especially Hanazawa-san was just like the embodiment of Mitsuri. She was just so kawaii. I loved her so much. And like what they had to say, like, because we weren't expecting it, and it when they popped up on the screen, it just like it made me tear up a bit because of just like how surprised we were and how like such nice people they were and how excited they were. And the gift, I remember when they said like, "Oh, we have a surprise," and we were all thinking like, "Oh, okay, they'll like sign like one of those and like give it to one person." No, they gave it to like all like 4,000 people in that room. It absolutely incredible. Like we just sat there and stared at each other with like our mouths hanging open. And it's even more special because as one of you said earlier, they were also seeing it for the first time. This drawing being made right before our eyes. And kind of like what Gabriel was talking about, like the beauty of this animation that goes into this story is just so beautiful, and we got to see a piece of that. There's a reason why Demon Slayer is just so highly praised by people. It's not only the story and everything that goes into it, but it's also this art, and it's just amazing, and I'm so happy to have experienced this with all of you.
I totally agree, and kind of like Brynn said earlier, because she was cosplaying Kanroji the next day, I did Kanroji the day after that, and we were both like, "Ah, oh, dang it!" Like, we could have been like, "Ah, it's us." Oh well. I loved just how excited they seemed. Like everyone kind of touched on. I really do hope maybe next year at Anime Expo, Hashira training arc will hopefully either be airing then or be done airing then, hopefully. And maybe they can get a bunch of voice actors and do like a full, like big panel with all of them there. And Hana-san's just kind of like, "Hey, I'm the veteran. Like, I'm going to help you all." It would be so much fun to see how many voice actors could come out with it being such an important arc for so many of the characters that like we haven't really met yet and that sort of thing. So fingers crossed, they all seem like they want to do it. But one of the things that I loved about what Kito-san said was that she talked a little bit about the season finale when she had to like actually talk again, when it wasn't like a flashback, and she said that she was about as nervous as she was the first day of recording, which she's talked very openly about being super nervous because she was a really new voice actor and everyone else working on it at that time were veterans. So it was like a cute little callback. I think it was Hanazawa-san who mentioned like, "Bring something back to us." And I think the thing that got to them on the stage was In and Out. I think that's what they heard the most.
Yeah.
And they were like, maybe that one's kind of hard to bring to Japan. And what's funny is I think it was a call out to how Hanai-san went to In-N-Out back in February. Everyone's like, "You gotta do it again!" Oh my gosh, it was hilarious. So much fun. And then, of course, the gift was just such a beautiful thing. We were all so excited and surprised to be getting them. It's not even just like a postcard. It's like thick. I framed it, of course. Just real beautiful artwork. And it's also a bit of an honor to know that, like, all of them received it as well, and they're framing it and putting it on their walls, so it's like a little special like token, and just really, really beautiful, because all the other panels we went to, like if they gave away stuff, one person got it, so it was really amazing for everyone to get it.
Yeah, Kawanishi-san said he was going to take a picture of it and set as his phone background.
and Hanai-san was like, I'm framing it and putting it on my wall. I was like, same. Like, you're the same as me.
Finally, some favorite moments from the panel. Now, before everyone else goes, I know I said I didn't go, but I do have a favorite moment from Anime Expo. It's something that makes me waku waku, if you will. It's the souvenir Hana brought me back of my cute posket of Anya, because I don't have any Anya merch, so I had to give her a quick shout out.
Yay.
Thank you, Hana.
You should have seen my like absolute like beelining trying to find Anya stuff at like the last minute and the last day because I couldn't find anything out. Oh my gosh, it was stressful, but we got something. That was good. My goodness, it's really hard to pinpoint favorite moments, so I'm going to say this as quickly as possible, but I have 3. First is going to be that Hanai-san mentioned that he read the manga over and over again to prepare for the season finale and was actually crying due to his emotional connection to the story and to Tanjiro while he was recording. And I remember, I think I was talking to at least Jenna about this prior, thinking that the crying sounds that he had during that scene felt so realistic, and now it all makes sense because it's like he was genuinely crying because that's how like invested he was in it and how much he felt like he was right there along with Tanjiro, which like brought a tear to my eye. That's when my Kokushibo makeup started kind of maybe disappearing. I also loved something that we didn't touch on at the very beginning. They kind of gave us a disclaimer that his throat was like hurting and his voice was struggling for the entire time, and you could hear it when he was saying the lines. Like when he said Hino Kamikagura, I was very excited, but I felt bad because I was like, oh. Like he definitely, you could tell his voice was kind of being not great to him, and you know, of course it's kind of important for him, so we were all a little bit nervous, but you could tell just how passionate he was and how excited he was to be there. He just powered through and got through it. So that was really, really, really beautiful. And then finally, just my favorite moment was getting to experience this with so many amazing friends. And I wish Bryan had been there. I wish Emily had been there. It would have made everything even better. But getting to experience it in cosplay, in the front row, with this group of people that was just as passionate as I was the whole time, because I can get a little over crazy at times. I felt just like I was with my people, you know, like these are my people. This is the kind of thing that, you know, I want to keep doing, and hopefully we get to do it again next year.
Could make me all sad and tear up because of that. Honestly, I couldn't stop talking about going to AX and then getting to experience this panel with everybody as well. That was something I could not stop talking about, and I just can't stop thinking about because of all the great memories that were made. And I think they started as soon as the panel started was when I started getting so excited because of how they entered it. They turned off all the lights, and then they just started playing the intro, and all around us everyone was losing their mind. We were singing along. We were just like, it was something like I can't, like, words can't describe the excitement felt in that room at that exact moment, because you knew everyone else there felt the same exact way. We had all been waiting so long for that moment, and then that was just the start of the amazing time that was happening. It just was something else. One of my other favorite moments, I think, has to be when Hana-san was talking. He was saying about how the few episodes where Tanjiro actually wasn't featured, he kind of got excited being able to experience it just as a viewer instead of being just a voice actor for Tanjiro. He got to just experience it as a viewer because he, like we've all touched on before, he truly loves Demon Slayer, and then he just got to experience it like all of us do. And I think that made me really happy getting to hear that, because you know he's passionate about it and how he reads it, and he reads the manga and dedicates himself to the role of Tanjiro. So it was fun getting to hear that he just got to have that excitement that we all shared as well. And I know Hannah already touched on it, but when he mentioned that he was crying in the booth, because we all were having this conversation either on the drive up or the day prior about how it sounded so genuine, how you can't just make that like sound of heartbreak come out, and that heartbreak and sadness, and it just was something else. It's like getting to hear that, and then him saying that he genuinely was crying, it all clicked in, and you could tell how dedicated to the role he was, and it was amazing getting to hear that and understand more behind it.
I also loved when he said something like, I'm just a fan who happens to be the voice actor of Tanjiro. Like, he really does love the show and bring such a great energy to it. To name like a favorite moment is so hard, but I would have to say being engulfed in the energy of everyone, it's a different experience than when you're watching it at home by yourself. It's a different presence, and there's just so much livelihood to watching it with that much of a group of people, whether we're seeing artwork for the Hashira training arc or we're seeing them do a live reading. Just all of it with everyone was just amazing. That was like my favorite part. And when he came out firsthand and said Hinokami Kagura with his voice not being at his tip-top shape, and he did a panel, I think 2 panels before that, and had to talk to, so that was just amazing on his end.
Yeah, Gabriel won a prize at the Undead Unluck. He like won one of the trivia games, and he walked up to get it to the front of the stage, and the entire time Hanai-san was watching him, like not like scarily, but just like, oh, nice cosplay. Like I'm assuming that's what's going on through his head, and he did not break eye contact until Gabriel like walked back, and I was like kind of jealous.
I I love how all of us have such different answers. I also have three quick things to say, like Hannah. Number one was seeing like just them voice Tanjiro and Muichiro, their lines. Like it's just so special. Something else that really stood out to me, not only with this panel, but like at least one person said it throughout all the panels we saw, but all of them really expressed how thankful and appreciative they were of the audience's support. Whether that came from us watching the media that they're a part of or being dedicated to dressing up in cosplay for these panels, there was just a lot of gratitude behind their words with all of us supporting them. And you could just tell how deeply moved they all were. And then the third one being like, I don't even know how to explain this, but basically like the impossible becoming possible. I never imagined that I'd be seeing these voice actors in person live with like a group of my friends. And I had that same experience at the Demon Slayer premiere, of course. And so seeing Hanai-san again and the producer again was like really special, but like seeing the voice of Muichiro, of course, Uguchi-san, the voice of Lloyd from Spy Family, and of course Uchiyama-san, Rui. I don't have words to explain how I feel about seeing these people in real life. Like it was something that I thought was impossible, and so seeing it in front of my eyes, it's just, I don't know how to describe it, but it's it just always makes me emotional, and I'm like shaking again, so I'll stop. But I'm just so thankful I got to experience this with all of my friends, and I'm excited for next year because I'm for sure going again.
Well, it sounds like an amazing time. Hopefully, I'll be able to join you next year. It's still up in the air as I'm debating to either attend Anime NYC. Maybe I can swing Anime Expo by myself. Who knows? The future is to be unknown. But since you guys had so much fun attending, I am so grateful that all of you got to live your wildest anime dreams at Anime Expo. Now, we do still have a Taisho era secret this week. And as Gabriel mentioned, there was also an Undead Unluck panel in which Hanae-san was in attendance at, and he actually gave away his personal jacket. Now, of course, Hana was at the edge of her seat because, let's be real, anything Hanae-san, it's right up her alley, and you don't even have to ask. She was screeching for that jacket. Everyone was pointing at her like, give this woman the jacket. She needs it. It is part of her literal mental stability. Unfortunately, she did not get the jacket, but we do hope that person who has that jacket is cherishing it for the token that it is, and the, essentially, confidence boost that it is that you have been recognized by a literal god. So, we would like to remind you of that.
I was standing on my chair as Akaza pointing at Hannah during that part of the panel. I'm not kidding.
Everyone in me and Gabe's row was like shoving our fingers, like trying to point at Hannah the other row over.
Oh, yeah.
And the host never even looked our way.
Oh, no.
Other side of the room.
It's okay. It's okay.
It's the pick-me. Oh, no. I'm sorry. Well, it's been a really great episode with the largest number of people on the Hashira Half Hour ever. So this has been an awesome episode. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. Don't forget to download the podcast on wherever you're listening, so that way you can help us make a little bit of moolah, if you will. All right. Follow our social media everywhere. It's at Hashira Half Hour on TikTok and Instagram. On Twitter, we are at Hashira Half, where you can mainly hear my opinions about other animes and such like that. We're also on YouTube, and we're posting YouTube shorts everywhere. So we're posting on Instagram Reels. We're giving you manga reviews coming soon, starting today, actually. So go check out chapter 128, if you will, and make sure you subscribe. But with all of that being said, I'd like to give it one last umai.
Umai.
Umai!
Umai. Umai.